MJ, I have another name for you. Kraven. He's here on some kind of hunt. You know, if you need me, I'm just a call away.
What the hell's going on with Pete?
He's not himself.
This was our dream.
We're going to kill.
PlayStation.
We've got a lot to talk about. So first, Bryan, my first question for you is, where do we find Peter, MJ, Harry, and Miles at the beginning of Marvel Spider-Man 2 now that we're in the third installment of the franchise?
Well, you could find us all in the back being late to the panel because we were watching the story trailer as you guys were all watching it backstage.
True,
That's first
true.
off. So, yeah, I think what's really great about this game is that we're going to pick up roughly 9 to 10 months after the events of Miles Morales, which, if you haven't played it, it's an amazing video game by a talented team. And what's really great is we kind of have Pete and Miles. They're a well-oiled machine. They're a great team. They lean on each other. They really support each other, and they're really protecting the city. But at the same time, there's a lot of things going on in their life outside the mask. Miles is applying to college and trying to figure out how to write his college essay. And you have Pete starting his teaching career. And then you have MJ, who is still at the Bugle, but under a new leadership with the return of J. Jonah Jameson at the Daily Bugle.
Damn. All right, and then Bill, so my next question is for you. So can you talk about the dynamic of these characters and how working with Insomniac, they're keeping the authenticity of the DNA of the core of these characters while still making it their own?
Together, working all together, we're all one team. We all love the characters. Our goal is to make something that you love, that when you play it, you say, this was made by fans for fans.
Oh, yeah.
And John, my next question is for you. With the new villains that we've seen in this game, confirmed villains with Kraven, Venom, and Lizard, can you talk narratively why you felt those choices for those villains were important?
For us, it really started with Kraven. He's our catalyst for the story, right? Like before the game starts, he's halfway around the world being Kraven, hunting, trying to find the ultimate prey. And he watched from afar as the events of the first two games occurred. And he decided, you know what? There's a lot of stuff going on in New York City. That might be my new hunting ground. So, like I said, Kraven's a catalyst for everything happening. When he comes to New York City, a lot of things start going wrong. We have Lizard coming out. We have the symbiote coming out. And as you saw briefly in that trailer, Miles is forced to come face to face with the Mr. Negative, the guy who killed his dad. So there's a lot of drama that's happening in this game.
Absolutely. And Jacinda, my next question for you. So I think one of the things fans really appreciate about both of the games is just the environment, just the lived-in cities, that it feels like a character in its own. So can you talk about how you elevated that with this new game, especially with the PS5 technology and the new locations that we'll see, like with Coney Island and Queens and stuff like that?
Totally, yeah. We're super excited to finally be able to bring Brooklyn and Queens to our fans. Obviously, Miles is from Brooklyn. Peter is from Queens. Not only does it increase the gameplay space, so there's a lot more places for you to swing to, but it also has some really cool, obviously Marvel landmarks, as well as New York landmarks. For example, I know in Queens, everybody has wanted to visit Aunt May's house and perhaps see where Peter lives. I know a lot of fans had wanted to interact with that space, so just being able to walk in and see where he lives is incredible. Oh, and there's a picture of Aunt May's house. The other thing that's really cool is it's introducing a lot of cool landmarks like the East River. So as you could see in our gameplay trailer that we produced a while back, you can now chase the lizards on the East River, which is awesome. And personally, for me, I just love seeing the Brooklyn Bridge, the Williamsburg Bridge, and being able to just swing across the water. It's an incredible experience.
And Ryan, my next question for you, just following up with the new locations, can you talk about how the new traversal techniques that we are implementing in this game affected your approach to this and how you elevated it?
Sure. I mean, one of the interesting things with Brooklyn and Queens is you're not always surrounded by skyscrapers anymore. And so we thought, what's a really great opportunity? Something we've seen on comic book covers, we've seen it in the movies, we can add the web wings. And that's really changed how we look at traversal. Swinging is always our Spider-Man core. That's where we come from. But what we did is design the web wings so that we could integrate them and weave them in with swinging. You gain height and you build speed between swinging and the web wings, and you go back and forth and really kind of weave your way through the city. It's really fun. In Brooklyn and Queens, there are some lower spaces, there are some new spaces, but you have to get between Manhattan and the other boroughs by crossing the river. So that's another opportunity where we could really, well, we added these things called jet streams or wind tunnels. You really build speed there, and they just shoot you right along when you're on the web wings. It's really fun, and it's one of the chances for us to really push the power of the PS5 there and like hit a level of speed that we hadn't had in the previous game. It's really added a new dimension to what we can do with traversal.
We see Mr. Negative in this trailer. So can you just briefly talk a little bit about how he's still coping with the effects of his game and dealing with the loss of his father?
Man, well, y'all seen Miles' trajectory, and just with everything that he's been through with his family and his friends and just getting into this new world that he's, being introduced to. But he's now owning this power. But, coming back to Martin Lee, man, that was something big. I didn't think that we would revisit that because we had a lot of emotions on set.
And my last question, because we touched on it as well, but his powers and his abilities, how is he really, we see them evolving, and we see him, he has a couple new abilities, so how is he really coming into his own with that, with his abilities?
Oh, we got some stuff coming for y'all. Y'all get ready. October 20th, you're going to be surprised, you're going to be shocked, you're going to be on your feet. You're gonna be screaming, you're gonna be crying, you're gonna be laughing. So y'all get ready, man. We got some powerful stuff coming for y'all.
I apologize to employers everywhere because I hear a lot of people going, I've already booked, time off from work, on October 20th for like 3 days. I'm like,
right.
We have MJ in the house. So can you talk about what are her ambitions in this game and how her storyline has evolved from when we last saw her?
Yeah, I think she's coming to her own a lot more. I think she's understanding who she is as a reporter and as a writer a lot more. She spent a lot of time away from Peter in Symkaria. And am I allowed to say this? She's writing.
There's a reason why we wanted Yuri, Laura, and Nadji all here, because they are a team. They are, they complement each other really well, not just what's going on in the superhero world, but what's happening in their lives. And I think that's why, even when we're shooting our scenes, we're all kind of working together as a team, figuring out how do we put this game together. And I know we couldn't be working with better people. Like, I love these people. They're awesome. So I
love you too, man. We love you more, bro.
They're the best.
Come on, man.
There's somebody else that we can't forget about on this panel. That is the Venom of the Venom. Tony Todd. It's truly an honor to have you on this panel right now. Let's get
And all of a sudden, I get a call from Insomniac to test drive Venom. And I got to say, it's been the most exciting voiceover journey that I've had to date.
Yeah. Bryan, can you just talk about the casting of this? I know is there a story or something along how this happened?
Oh yeah. So I remember we cast a lot of the characters pretty quickly. Like, obviously we had Miles, Peter, MJ, and then early we actually, like, right before COVID, I think we cast Kraven, and I knew I was putting off Venom. I was just putting it off. I was like, I know there's already there's gonna be so many opinions of what people, and I know I was scared to death. And I remember Patrick, our dialogue lead, was asking me, like, what are you looking for? And I said, I don't know. And then I remember I just happened to be on the internet one day, and I was listening to one of I think it was the Candyman, the new Candyman trailer, and I heard Tony, and I was like, hey, if we could get like a Tony Todd, that would be the one. And then a couple weeks go by, I don't think anything about it. And Patrick messages me and goes, you're not gonna believe this. Tony Todd's interested. And I remember he sent a real quick tape in, and it was like, sorry, Tony, it was really bad, like, audio quality, but it took like 3 lines, and I was like, that's it. Just please hire him. Please, whatever he wants, give it to him. And I think you all know, based on what you heard, he's incredible. We have a wonderful, there's 4 of us here from Insomniac, but we have so many Insomniacs who are putting so much work into this game. And I just want to say, if they're somehow listening to this, thank you for all the work that you guys are putting into it right now. It's incredible. The work they're doing to finish this up is just, I call Insomniac my second family because we just put so much into this. And you can imagine when you're in your family, everybody has opinions, right?
Yep.
And I think it's probably the only decision I've ever made being a creative director in 10 years where I just said, Tony Todd is going to be Venom, and everybody said yes. So,
Can you just talk a little bit about Venom's motivations and his personality in this, and why is he so important to the narrative of this game?
Well, yeah, I mean, Venom is a symbiote, right? And I think the thing that a lot of symbiote stories have in common, and the reason why I think we connect with them really well, is that it's a simple human story. We all have a darkness inside of us. And then you put the symbiote on top of that. It really brings out the dark parts of what Spider-Man is about, power and responsibility. You heard Yuri talk about it a couple minutes ago. And what happens in the story is that sense of responsibility starts to go away. It's really interesting when you bring the symbiote into these relationships, how it really challenges them, not just externally, because there's cool powers. Ryan was talking about having that control in your hand. Oh my God, it's amazing. But the people you love around you.
Tony, I'm coming back to you. Can you talk about your approach to bringing the voice of it to life and how you approached it?
For me, Venom was fun to do, and I wanted to make sure that there was a joyous quality in his destruction.
I'm glad it was fun for you because it scared the hell out of us.
Always fun to me.
Yeah, it'd be funny when we were in the recording booth because we would record separately when we were doing gameplay dialogue, and every once in a while, Tony, you would come and play in our headphones before a line, and it was like, oh God. You wouldn't expect it, and it was terrifying.
And Bryan, I'll come back to you real quick. What was that like when you heard Tony voice his lines for the first time officially, and what was your initial reaction?
Well, first relief, because I was like, okay, we made the right choice for sure. And I think then just general excitement. And I think Tony is so talented that sometimes depending on, we have so many different characters or so many different actors, sometimes we're, depending on what the role calls for, are we going to, adjust the way that they do the line, and you just let Tony be Tony and you get magic.
It was like a gift come true to be able to cement myself in the whole voiceover family and world and meet new friends and conquests, and I'm still pinching myself because I'm a gamer, and I'm telling you, I can't wait for this monumental masterpiece to drop.
That's right.
Sizzle.
I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you, can you do the iconic "We Are Venom" line for everybody in the crowd?
Bring us all out.
Which do you want? No, okay. We are Venom.
All right, well, I think we got some special surprises coming up for you guys. I think the next thing we want to talk about is the collector's edition statue that we have here on this table right here.
I think it really represents what this game is about. I've said in previous interviews, I've talked about, it's called Spider-Man 2 for a reason, because we have two iconic characters in this great piece of art, but also it's going to take two Spider-Men to take on something so powerful, something that they've never been able, there's nothing come their way. I mean, if you look at, whether it's Doc Ock in the first game and then Tinker in Miles Morales, like Venom is literally a whole different beast.
Bryan, why are you putting on gloves right now? Like that's.
Oh, these?
Yeah. What is that for?
Well,
like,
Dorian, I think we should play the video.
I think we should play the video. Let's go ahead and play that video real quick.
What? Miles, I need your help!
What is this stuff? Wait, Pete! I got an idea!
Nice! One more time! On 3! 1, 2, 3!
The beautiful Spider-Man 2 PlayStation 5.
Oh my God.
Wow.
No! I didn't know about that. I didn't know. They didn't show me that before we came out
No, they
here
didn't tell us that.
today.
They
No,
did
that was-
not.
Yeah.
Now I have to
Y'all
get
knew
a
what
new
y'all were
PS.
doing.
Secrets, you guys.
They knew what they were doing.
Wow.
All right, well, there we go. Like Marvel, so they keep everything so tight-lipped. I found out about this 5 minutes before we came out here. That's how serious they are. So, Bryan, can you speak to this epic, amazing, beautifuln's right here?
This has been one of the biggest secrets throughout the entire development of the game, that we were going to have the console and the DualShock. So I know we're pretty pumped. I mean, I think, we talk about the symbiote playing a big role. Obviously, it plays a big role here in the design of the console, and we thank PlayStation for going above and beyond with the design of it. I know Jacinda worked really closely with everybody on the design of it, and I'm pretty pumped, man.
All in all, that being said, I want to say thank you again to this incredible panel. Thank you guys so much for all your hard work.